Hello, welcome to Farrell Swim Tech. My name is John Farrell. I am the host of this show. This is a special episode for me. So typically I do this as a live stream, and I'm recording someone else or I'm explaining some technique. But today we're actually going to do a build episode. We are going to take my old used up tier Socket Rocket 2.0s, and we're going to put a fresh set of lenses on them, ready for some summer training. So before we begin, the reason why I'm doing this episode was actually because of a couple posts on Lionel Sanders' Discord. Big ol' shout out to my Discord mates on there. There was talk about people having big difficulties putting Swedish goggles together, making them fit, making them work, okay? First off, let's talk about Swedish goggles. Now, for goggles, there's a ton of different options, and quite frankly, the best goggles are the goggles that fit, and the goggles that don't leak. Now, for me personally, I've used Swedish-style goggles from, 13 years old? You know, I've been using them for well over 2 decades at this point. So, I've used them, I approve of them, I love them. The only problem is, so there's 2 major brands that make Swedish goggles, and there's actually they're kind of hard to pronounce and I never remember them, but there's 2 main brands that do them. Now, there's a bunch of other big name hitters that create Swedish style goggles. So when we talk about Swedish style, what we're talking about are single piece goggles that are connected typically with either a piece of goggle strap, or I like the strings. I hate the goggle straps. And then a single, a double strap around the back. Now, you may notice this looks like a bungee cord because it is. This is a bungee strap. Bungee straps are the best. I have never had a problem with except Sporty. Your straps are horrible, Sporty. S-P-O-R-T-I. Do not buy their bungee straps. They are garbage. They are useless. Do not buy them. Personally, I recommend either buying the original bungee strap, Tier, T-Y-R, Tier. They make a very solid set of bungee straps. I very much so approve of them. I use them. I've had one pair of bungee straps literally last me the entirety of college. I'm actually getting ahead of myself. I need to explain what I'm doing here. But okay, so the reason why I like the tier, if you want Swedish goggles, but the problem with Swedes is they had a hard plastic gasket. In other words, you see this blue part, this is actually a silicone gasket. Now, the Swedes don't have this. Original Swedes are just hard plastic, and they just pop right on your face. The problem is they are hard. They're not comfy. They kind of dig into your face if you're not careful. Not if you're not careful, but if you have a brand new set. I mean, just take a nail file and file them down. That's all I did. So a lot of people don't like them because they're not as comfortable as rubber gasket goggles, foam gasket goggles, pretty much any other goggle on the market. I loved them because they were no nonsense. They were dirt cheap. You could get, when I was back in swimming, you can get a pair of Swedes for $8. And they would last about a whole year. You should switch them out every 6 months so then they don't fog up as bad, but when you swim as long as I do, you just get used to the goggle fog and you call it a day. Now, if you're in a pool, that's not that big of a problem. You just have to be able to see the pace clock at the end of the pool. But if you're doing open water swimming, goggle fog is a much bigger problem. I usually change these out about every 6 months. But the reason why I like and very much so approve of the Tier Socket Rocket 2.0s, let me show you the box real quick. Socket Rocket 2.0s. I very much so approve of them because of this very thin silicone gasket that they put on the edge of the goggles. And very comfy, very leak-proof. And the best thing about these is you can dial them into your face. You can absolutely dial them in. I have never had problems with Swedes. Once you get them set up correctly, you pretty much never have an issue with them again. So, what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you how I set up my Swedish goggles, okay? It's a very simple process. It just looks very complicated when you first look at the at the process. So, okay, so first thing I'm going to do is take my old goggles. I'm going to take my goggle strap off the goggles because you can totally reuse this strap. Like I said, I've had a good bungee strap last me for years. That sporty strap I said did not even last a year. I've had a bungee strap last literally my entire collegiate career. My practice goggles, I used them. Actually, no, my practice goggles were my racing goggles. So I never had a problem with it. I mean, something, yeah. So these ones I've definitely worn. They're welcome. So what we're going to do is we're now going to open the box. So just open the box, slide them out. So when you buy a brand new pair of Socket Rocket 2.0s, first thing you're going to notice is the box is not fun. So we're going to get rid of that. So then we're going to take off this part. So what you notice is there is a bag with a string and a little piece of rubber. Keep this, highly important. So what you're going to see when you open these goggles for the first time is that you have the goggles appear to be all ready to go. These ones are mirrored. You see the mirrors, really better, much better for outdoor swimming. Indoor swimming, not as much, but outdoor swimming, it's pretty much a must. So what you notice is there is a piece of goggle strap that they use for the nose bridge. I hate this. I despise them. I had buddies that would swear by them. I could never get into it. I didn't like them. The only problem was if I had my goggles on too tight, it would stretch the nose bridge out too much and my goggles would leak all the time. So I decided I always ditch it. I always ditch the nose bridge. So all you do is just hold the center of the nose bridge, slide the goggles on down, and they just come right off. Or you can break them. Who cares? They're going to be thrown away anyway. Same thing with the goggle straps. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the goggle straps. I really don't like this methodology of fastening goggles. Pretty much when it comes to goggle straps, you really want to avoid any plastic parts that have a lot of load bearing on it. And I know that completely contradicts the bungee straps, but my problem is any hard plastic areas, they snap, they break, and once they do, the goggles are pretty much useless. So that's one of the reasons why I love the Swedish goggles, because you don't have to worry about that. Oh, by the way, I'm now disassembling the goggles 100% completely. So there you go. Goggles are completely disassembled. Now you got your two goggle lenses. You now have your string, and you have your bungee strap. Okay? So everything else can just be... I'm like going all Swedish stuff. Hurdy-doody-hurdy-doo. And that's not going to hang out behind me. There you go. All right. So we got everything we need now. So we'll tilt this down. So we now have everything we need in order to make our goggles. Okay? So first thing to note, there is no technical left and right eye to this. The only thing that you can see right here is that there is a tier symbol. Just make sure the tier symbol's right side up. Don't be a doof. Oh, by the way, you can go. So what we want to do is we want to open up our little string packet here. Now, honestly, this is just string. I mean, I've used yo-yo string before. I'm a yo-yo enthusiast. I actually have one of my favorite yo-yos right here, the Yo-Yo Factory Too Hot. It is a fantastic yo-yo, by the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the nose bridge, because we always want to start with the nose bridge because we're going to be dialing in that fit first. So what we're going to do is we're going to thread the string on one side. We're going to make sure the ends are nice and even. Then we're going to take our rubber-y tube part, and we're just going to slide that on in there, grab the ends, and then we are going to push this down to where the rubber piece actually will go over this little nubber right here. Okay? So it's going to look like this. Kind of looks like a weirdo elephant that's blowing its nose. All right? So there you go. So now what we're going to do is we're now going to create the initial knot. We're going to create the initial knot in order to tie our nose bridge together. We are literally tying these goggles together. So now what we want to do is we're going to create an overhand knot. If you know your scout knots, try and do a square knot. Saves you a little bit of troubles later. So then there we go. So we got our basic knot, and I screwed up, so I did a garbage knot. So what we're going to do, in order to get over this, we're just going to tie a couple more knots, a couple more overhand knots. If all of you knot enthusiasts have a better knot, go for it. But I just like to tie a couple overhand knots, call it a day. And do one more for good measure. So we purposefully want to make this nose bridge wider than what we typically would do, because we are actually going to twist the ends. If I can actually get this darn... All right, you know what? Screw it. We got a good enough knot. Okay, so now we're going to tilt the camera back up. So that's the hardest part of the build right there. So what we're going to do is, so with this width, this is completely not going to work. Okay, so the way you know this isn't going to work is because the goggles, you always feel it on the insides of your nose, okay? Between your eyes and your nose. That's where your nose bridge goes. And if you feel like there's a bunch of air there, it's not going to go right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do it and we're going to take 2 twists. Okay? We're going to physically twist the goggles 2 times. Okay? And there you go. That's going to be it for me. So it took about 4 twists from where I tied it. Now, where you tie it is going to be different than where I tie it. Okay? Everyone's nose bridges are different. This is one of the reasons why I love these goggles as opposed to other mass-produced goggles, because most other mass-produced goggles simply have nose bridges, and they are a set width. I don't like that. I like being able to dial in my own nose bridge. So, now that I know what my goggles are supposed to feel like, I feel like Morpheus right now. In this hand is a pill, in this hand is another pill. So, all right. So, this is how it should be. So, now what we need to do is we need to bring this back down, and we don't want to lose the tie. We don't want to lose the twists, okay? So, what we're going to do is we're just going to hold this down, and then we're going to start, and then we're going to thread our bungee strap back through the ends. Now, each end, I'll use these goggles so I don't have to lift these. So, each end has this little hole right here. It's on the outside. It's on the outside of the goggles. Okay, let me see if I can angle this right. All right, I can't do this well. Okay, there you go. So right here. So you got to get the goggle strap. You got to get this end of the goggle strap through the hole. So now, notice how I've laid this down to where if I bring this up and put them to my face, they're technically right side up. So what you want to do is you want to take your 2 ends and you want to thread them through the bottom. So then what happens is when you're on top, your clip is on top. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start. Oh, wow. They totally changed. Oh, my gosh. They changed it. It's just so much easier now. I did not know this. Wow, that was a whole heck of a lot easier than it used to be. They literally changed the model on me, like very recently. Because here, let me actually show this to you. This is very interesting. So look at the difference between this and this. So you see, this one has a much larger loop, much easier for the goggle strap to get through as opposed to this tiny hole. Wow, you know what, Tier? Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. That makes my life a whole heck of a lot easier, and it doesn't sacrifice structural integrity. So now what we do is we are going to bring these items together, and then we are going to squish down on our little stopper, and we're going to thread both of those ends right on through there. So now all you got to do is just tighten them, okay? So here we go. So then what I do is I put my goggles on. Okay? Put my goggles on, and then I kind of adjust the strap here. make everything all nice and comfy. You can see, because right now I kind of know approximately where my goggles need to be. So then with the bungee strap, what's really nice about it is here it is right there, and boom. Hey, look at that. It's tighter. They're fantastic. I love them. So there you go. Swedish goggles, all done in about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. I can literally whip these together in about 5 minutes. So that's how to make Swedish goggles. So a couple things to note. Number one, you wanna peel these little puppies off. There you go. I don't look like a noob. Number one, if you ever get goggles with the little film on the outsides, take them off. Don't leave them on. You know the noobs when they got that on there. You got to be a little bit more advanced than a noob. Okay, so a couple things to understand. Number one, your nose bridge will stretch a little bit over your first couple of workouts. So in order to fix this, all you got to do is just take them off. You take your goggles off, take the bungee strap off, unthread it, and turn it, twist it, and then put it back on. Because the nice thing is, with the way I teach you, with the way that I set it up, I know if I have it just like this, my nose bridge is perfectly fine. I don't have to mess with it ever again. So I just know I can just throw these puppies on, and I'm good to hop in the pool. I'm good to swim. Now, some people, you might want to clip these little ends off. I don't notice them anymore, so it doesn't really bother me. So yeah, that's honestly about it. So we went from very much so I can, like even right now, they're really, really cloudy, really tough to see through, to brand new Swedes in about 10 minutes. There you go. So, yep. So that's my video on how to make Swedish goggles. Personally, I love them. I have a personal mantra to never spend more than $20 on goggles. These Swedes were about, the mirrored cost a little more, so they were about 16. Standard Socket Rocket 2.0s, like the clear ones that I just had, they're about 12. So what I do personally is I set it up so they are on subscribe and save through Amazon. There will be a link down below in the video description for any and all items. I am an Amazon affiliate, so any purchases made through those links, I will get a small cut of that. Thank you for your patronage. So yeah, so that's about it for this episode. It was kind of a nice and short one as opposed to my normal hour-long ones. Good Lord. So yep, that's it for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you have any questions at all, shoot me an email. More than happy to answer your questions. And also, if you really like what you see, I do accept donations. Send me an email if you would wish to donate to the stream, and I will get you all the links that you need. So, Team Zoot, keep training. I am proud to be your support crew. I accidentally ordered this shirt, but through the team sales, but I figured, hey, you know what? I'm on the support crew. I'm here to support you in your swimming endeavors. Also, everyone in Lionel Sandals Discord, thank you very much for allowing me to pontificate on all things swimming. It's a lot of fun to be a member of the one, the only Lionel Sanders' Discord. So, until later, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Keep training, and good night, Isaiah Norris, wherever you are. I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.